Well, I am always very excited to be joining the amazing Andrew Lessman for one of his wonderful visits, and today is a big day. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. If health is at the top of your list this new year with new resolutions, if you are looking to make some great changes, some positive changes in your life, your lifestyle, we have two incredible today's specials. I'm going to give you a quick overview of both of them with Andrew, and then we'll kind of dig deep into them. First of all, we want to talk about Secure. The world's finest meal replacement, 50, 60, 70 calories is astonishing, and the taste is delicious. Andrew, Happy New Year, sir. How are you?
Well, Happy New Year to everyone. Healthy New Year. Let's do all that we can to make this a healthy New Year. As I talked about last night, it was funny, I have an old publication, a headline from a newspaper, talking about a 20% obesity rate in the US. And the one good piece of good news with that 20% obesity rate, this is from a number of years ago, was that it could never get worse because that's so bad. This year, we just hit 40% obesity rate. Wow. That's not overweight and obesity. With overweight and obesity, it's close to 75%. So it's an important thing that we could all focus on this year, is finding what works for us in terms of weight loss and weight management. And that's what we'll talk about with Secure. And I don't make Secure because it's my way to help you lose weight. I make Secure because the science and the research says the best way to go about losing weight is using a meal replacement. I simply set out to do it as best I can, following the science, and the science is clear that it's absolutely the most reliable way to get things going and to keep things lost once you lose that weight. So that's why we make Secure. And we invest in flavor like no one else does. It's the lowest calorie meal replacement you'll find in the world. And as low as the calories become, that's how low your opportunity is to lose weight. That's how much your opportunity is to lose weight. That difference between the meal replacement and what you would have eaten. It's also the most affordable in the world, at literally pennies a meal, at 66 cents a meal. So unbelievably affordable. We have a chart that shows the incredible savings versus its normal pricing, which in its normal pricing, it's the lowest priced meal replacement in the world.
And this really is, as you can see, the #1 reason why we have had such a flying start to this today's special. The 100, 200, and 300 meal kit offer the biggest savings. And just to point out, I mean, the 200 meal kit would normally be $327. Our price is $149. You save $177. 300 meals would normally be $471. Today it's $199. You're saving $271. Please remember as well, with this one, and this one, you'll get a lot of wonderful extras from the cookbook.
Chocolate, tea, cookbook.
Gosh.
You get our Choco Nuvo, which we'll talk about in a moment in relation to Cholesterol. It lowers cholesterol, naturally approved to do so. Also, you get green tea, which to the extent you can make green tea your sort of beverage of choice, green tea supports your weight loss goals. You also get the cookbook as well. And what I forgot to mention, this configuration, not even as good as this, was our Today's Special last year, our Today's Special pricing of last year. We've added to each and every meal, we've added 250 milligrams of acetyl L-carnitine. On its own, a standalone ingredient that is the most important ingredient on a cellular level in terms of burning fat, mobilizing fat, because without carnitine, you can't move fat to the site where it gets burned. Also, acetyl L-carnitine happens to be the most important ingredient in our memory and brain product. So it's when you do things that are healthy in one area, when you do it naturally, it's often healthier in another area, and that's a perfect example with our acetyl L-carnitine. So we'll talk about that at length in a moment. I just also wanted to mention the other Today's Special, Cholesterol. Because again, so many of us this time of year, it's our opportunity for wellness goals. And I guess the greatest obstacle to our wellness, or the greatest, most likely cause of death in the United States, is heart disease. So we're all trying to do the things we can to support a healthy heart. First and foremost, if you could get as close as possible to your ideal weight, that dramatically reduces your risk of heart disease. It also helps you manage blood sugar better. It also helps you manage your blood pressure better. And in terms of heart disease and heart disease risk, of course, we have to manage and monitor our cholesterol level, which is why cholesterol-lowering drugs have become the most heavily prescribed drugs in America. Millions and millions of Americans are taking cholesterol-lowering drugs. Cholesterol works perfectly with any of those cholesterol-lowering drugs, perfectly. I say show it to your doctor only because it provides an opportunity to reduce your prescription for that drug or to potentially eliminate it. Of course, you only do that working with your physician, but this is an ingredient, the plant sterols present in Cholesterol is an ingredient that's approved by the Food and Drug Administration, approved by the FDA to reduce the risk of heart disease, to help lower your total and LDL cholesterol, and it does so in a significant fashion. We're not talking about 1 or 2% here. We're talking about double-digit percents of reduction. And if you're taking a cholesterol-lowering drug, or if they haven't even worked for you because of the side effects, then this is a great opportunity. And of course, those cholesterol-lowering drugs, like any medication, if you could get the result you seek, taking less of that medication, then that's a wonderful thing. So feel free to show this to your doctor. We have reviews I'll be reading that talk about the fact that the doctors were writing down the ingredient, where they could get the product, because they were astounded by the results their patients had, because many doctors, they know everything they need to know about the medications they might prescribe, but they don't know about a natural ingredient that, like medications, has an FDA approval. It's different when you approve a food for something like this. This is an exception because normally foods don't get this kind of approval. So an exciting topic of conversation. Most frequent question I'm asked, can it be used with cholesterol-lowering drugs? The answer is absolutely, positively yes. This works in your digestive system. The cholesterol-lowering drugs typically work by affecting an enzyme in your liver. So they work by different pathways. Their benefits are additive. You benefit from both together, which means even better results than either on their own.
And talking of benefits, the best pricing of the entire year. If you'd like to order Cholesterol, here's how it breaks down. You can choose, obviously, a trial size, as it were. If you just want to give it a go, please be our guest. No matter which you choose, you have a 30-day money-back guarantee. But you have the 100 caps, the 250, the 500, and the 1,000. You'll notice the savings are pretty dramatic. The 1,000 caps, normally $270. Our price today is $99.90, so you save $170. And just to pick up on something Andrew said, but if you have a moment to Google HSN, to go onto hsn.com and read the reviews on Cholesterol, they are heartwarming, they are dramatic, and they are phenomenal. Okay, with that in mind, Andrew, a new year brings new waves of optimism.
Well, I think we start the new year, we're optimistic, we're hopefully inspired, or if nothing else, it gives us an excuse to make a change. And I think that's often, we always say, well, I'll do this when we achieve this or when this occurs, and I think oftentimes it's the end of the year. Part of the reason why I think with weight loss, the end of the year is, and wellness as well, the end of the year is a good opportunity. It's not just because of New Year's, but it's because we recognize that the end of the year, and I speak personally on this as well, I probably eat more desserts in December than I do in the entire year.
Right.
I probably average, my caloric intake probably goes up 20 or 30%. So I think it's normal that all of us, we almost have to get through the end of the year to see ourselves kind of free and clear, right, to have an opportunity to make a decision. And as I was saying before about Secure, and the name Secure, it's a name we've been using for this product for 30 years. The origins of this product, I really didn't see myself as making a weight loss product. I saw myself as making weight loss recommendations. We'll talk about Muriel's cookbooks, helping people make better food choices because, as I always say, what we put in our body, that's 80% of weight loss. Right. What we do with our body, yes, important, exercise, activity. I exercise every single day, but exercise is a smaller piece of the equation when it comes to weight loss. So back 30 years ago, when I was looking at the science, and that's what I do every week is just read research, more and more research, the one thing that was clear was there was a method for weight loss that was the least expensive, the most affordable, and really the simplest and easiest to undertake, but it wasn't getting much of a conversation. I think because it was the least expensive, the easiest to undertake, you didn't need fancy trainers or fancy food sent to your house. It was meal replacement. And I'll read the quotes from scientific journal after scientific journal after scientific journal that says meal replacements work better than even these dietary regimes with dietary coaching and dietary meal plans and prepared foods, that meal replacements work better. What I used to always say jokingly, and it's kind of the truth, decades ago, is that a meal replacement, one of the best attributes of a meal replacement is that it keeps you out of harm's way For me, every time I get near food, there's a potential risk. Fortunately, I make good food choices. I might eat a lot of food, but I eat healthy foods, which is a step in the right direction. But when it comes to losing weight or managing our weight, we have to manage that relationship with food. And one of the best ways of managing that relationship, it's another analogy I often give, if we have friends with good habits, we end up undertaking good habits.
Right.
If we have friends with bad habits, it could be. So with food, we try to keep ourselves in proximity of things that will encourage us to have those good habits. And that's what a meal replacement does. It keeps us away from potential risks, harm's way. And I jokingly give these analogies, but these analogies are these are the underpinnings, the foundation of the science behind meal replacement. Also, I'm often asked, we make the best whey protein supplement in the world. I'm often asked why the principal formula for our meal replacement, our weight loss meal replacement, is soy-based. Of course, it's non-GMO. We also make versions with whey. We also make versions with marine collagen protein, marine collagen peptides. So you could find those at hsn.com. Also special pricing today. But the reason why we focused on soy protein is just as much research that talks about the science of meal replacement as being superior to every other approach to weight loss. Guess what? There's dozens and dozens and dozens of studies that say, soy protein has a unique weight loss supporting benefit that is superior to other forms of protein. And I'll find you study after study after study that I quote where the scientists are sort of doing that. Interesting. And also soy protein has a long list of health benefits that other forms of protein do not possess. Independent benefits in terms of the health of our heart, independent benefits in terms of supporting healthy metabolism, which most of us trying to lose weight are trying to accomplish those two ends. So I'll get into the sort of the nitty-gritty, the details on the formula. You will not find a formula that's lower priced, that's lower calories, that's better tasting, despite all the nutrition in this product. And I'll show you, this product, the biggest investment we make is flavor. I realize this because I made a big mistake. When I first introduced Secure, I invested in the protein, I invested in the nutrition. It was the most comprehensive nutrition product. It still is today. But I didn't invest in flavor. And of course, the product, for those of you who are hardy, it worked well. But if you didn't like drinking something that tasted not particularly great, it didn't do well. So what I quickly realized, my meal replacement can only work if you use it. And if I don't invest in flavor, no matter how great it was, you won't use it. So this is the evolution of a product. It's very funny. You read bad reviews, you make a better product, or at least that's how I approach it. And so we kept investing more and more and more in flavor to the point where probably the biggest complaint about the product is there's too much flavor. Right. But that's not a problem. You could use less, you can dilute it, but if there's not enough flavor, you're lost from the get-go. So it really has been a fascinating evolution that has created this product. And again, this is not my, say, invention. Meal replacements for decades have been around and proven and established as the best tool for weight loss, the most effective tool for weight loss. All I did was carefully read the research, and then the aesthetic part. This is more the art of the product. We made it the best tasting and lowest calorie version possible. So we embraced the research, followed the research, and did our version. And I hope everyone appreciates. I think this is 4.2 or 4.3 stars.
Yes, it is.
When you're making something that's ultra low calories and it's flavor, you cannot please everyone. At the outset, I said I would be happy if 50% of our reviews were 3, 4, and 5 stars, right, meaning half the people liked it or loved it. As it turns out, almost 70% give it 5 stars. Yep. And this is not some gourmet food. This is a 60-plus calorie meal replacement, so that's, I think, a testament to our accomplishment.
But for those of us who have shopped with Andrew for many years and purchased many of his products, you know his obsession towards quality. And that obsession can be seen in everything. So while it's nutritionally complete, it also tastes brilliant. And that's one of the things that I'm most excited about. Because if you are sat at home right now on January, the 14th, and you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna lose some weight, I'm gonna get healthier in the new year, what decisions can I make? Meal replacement is obviously a wonderful way to go. The problem is, for any one of us who has ever bought a meal replacement product, we try it, we try to grin and bear it, but we don't really like it. By day 2, we like it even less. By day 3, we're really disheartened. By day 4, we've given up. Andrew, as you just said, the key to this is sustaining that excitement, and you will when you taste it.
And that's, I could read reviews that folks who have achieved their weight loss goals and don't even need this to maintain their weight loss goals, they still enjoy using the product because it's nutritious, it's complete, and it's convenient, especially if you need a quick meal on the go. So what I was going to do is, just before I get into the charts and how unique the formula is, it's easy for me to say how easily it mixes, but I want to show everyone how easily it mixes. What I'll do is I'm going to do a couple of things here. Here's 1 scoop in a cup.
Okay.
What I'll do, just because it really emphasizes how unique the formula is, I'm going to put 3 scoops in this other glass.
Okay.
And this is chocolate. Last night I did vanilla, and some water here. And by the way, 1 meal of this costs less than a bottle of the water.
Yes,
remember, 1 meal, so even I'll just put a tiny bit of water in there. That's not even probably 6 ounces of water. This is 3 scoops. I'll probably put about 8 ounces in there.
Right.
And as you can see, unlike most protein-based, and this is principally protein-based products, this already has started to dissolve. And that's without even making any effort at stirring it. And
that was 1 scoop.
That was 1 scoop, and that was about 3 seconds. And it's totally mixed, as you can see as I spin the glass here. Here is 3 scoops and about 8 ounces of water. Do that with any protein product, any meal replacement that's full of vitamins and minerals. And what I do is, I've often talked about this. If I were opening a restaurant, I'd make sure that every meal at that restaurant was as if it was the only meal I made. Right. It's what someone like Wolfgang Puck does. So no matter what someone chooses, they're getting your very best. Every ingredient in this product, and there's dozens, from vitamins to minerals to protein to flavor, all of those ingredients, I approach it as if they are the only ingredient in the product in terms of solubility, in terms of mouthfeel, in terms of texture. And that's why 3 scoops in a small amount of water. I mean, I put the spoon in there, and you could actually feel the thickness of the ingredients, but it doesn't take more than a few seconds. It's already all in solution. It's all gone.
It's not lumpy, clumpy.
No, I could drink that entire glass. And
May I have the other one?
Sure.
Thank you. I didn't have a particularly big breakfast this morning.
This is so unbelievably rich because there's 3 scoops and 8 ounces.
But it tastes so delicious.
No, they are amazing. And I've been tasting them all the time now because we never stop working on the evolution of these products. And come next year, there will be another evolution of these products. We continue to improve them, to improve their flavor profile, to improve, and I'm salivating because they're so delicious, to improve their flavor profile, to improve their richness, their texture, the nutrient profile. We managed to put in every meal today the acetyl L-carnitine. It never contained acetyl L-carnitine. That's a separate product of mine, one of my most popular products. You don't have to buy it separately now because in each meal you're getting 250 milligrams of acetyl L-carnitine, critical, essential for fat-burning carnitine, also critical for healthy brain function. So it's just going to read some charts, then I'll get into the science on the ingredients in the product, and then we'll get into more of the testimonials, the reviews themselves, which I encourage you to read the reviews. And again, 70% of the reviews for this product are perfect 5-star reviews. So you're looking at 2,762 reviews that are 5-star reviews for a product that is a 63 to, and again, the fact that it's 63, 67, and 70 calories, that isn't because we can't do math. It's 63, 67, and 70 calories because the flavor component is such an enormous component of each formula. They all contain everything else the same. The nutrients, all the other components are the same that contributes calories. That caloric difference between 63 and 70, that's all flavor. So that's how much flavor, 63 calories for the vanilla. And the vanilla is wonderful because you can mix it with anything. At home, we put it in vegetable smoothies, we put it in fruit smoothies, you could put it in anything, in oatmeal, yogurt, whatever you want. You can mix it with any of them. You can mix with water, you can mix with non-fat milk, you can mix with sugar. So it just is so incredibly flexible. But as I read the basic charts here, only 63 to 70 calories, as I said. As I showed, you will not find a meal replacement that mixes more easily. You just will not. No one knows, I think, as much as we do about all the nutrients in terms of their solubility. In fact, the super soluble forms of calcium and magnesium that we use in our calcium magnesium intensive care, which, by the way, each meal replacement is like a capsule of our calcium magnesium intensive care supplement. So we use the exact same forms as we use in the most sophisticated separate calcium supplement, again, because solubility is key. We use the same form of vitamin C, or non-acidic, super-soluble vitamin C, as we use in our separate vitamin C product. We use the same unique B12 that no one in the world has, that's orally absorbable B12. We use that. It's like a mini multivitamin, literally, with the same sophistication of our multivitamins. So the vitamins won't adversely affect the flavor, and they're going to be available and beneficial to you. But as I continue here, it's rich, delicious, and filling because of our investment in actually flavor and fiber. 7 grams of non-GMO soy protein. You have to know, with all my products are gluten-free, my products are dairy-free, but it's very important to know that we would never use a GMO ingredient in terms of this. So soy protein has the best science in terms of weight loss. Nothing comes close. It's low in sodium for those watching blood pressure. It's low in fat, only 1.5 grams. It has no trans fat, no saturated fat, and not low cholesterol, 0 cholesterol. So less than 8 grams of carbohydrate, because so many folks might be type 2 diabetic, might be watching their blood sugar and their carbohydrate intake, their sugar intake. So less than 8 grams of carbohydrate, less than 30 carbohydrate calories. It's less than 5 grams of total sugar, 22 essential vitamins and minerals. As I said before, 100% of the RDA of vitamin C and D, 200% of vitamin B12, 50% of vitamin E, and all the remaining B vitamins, including biotin. Even in a multivitamin, the beauty vitamin biotin, you'll find it about 30 micrograms. We give you 150 micrograms, so 5 times more than the leading multivitamins. They do that because biotin is so expensive. Then, of course, 25% of the RDA of magnesium, 20% of calcium. So you're getting a product that delivers like a mini multivitamin. And just to get a sense of the quality of the protein that we use, whey protein, again, we make the best whey protein product in the world. It's a separate, our ultimate whey protein. We make a version of Secure that uses that whey protein. Soy protein has better science in terms of weight loss. That's why what we're talking about today is soy protein. Also, just so you know, our soy protein isolate is the equivalent of whey protein in terms of the protein, as it says here, digestibility, corrected amino acid score. Basically what that is your opportunity to benefit from the amino acids, the components of that protein. So our soy protein here is just as available as whey protein. So it truly is the ultimate weight loss product, because not my formula is so unique and special, but because we follow the science. We follow the science in terms of the meal replacement science and in terms of soy protein being the best source of protein for a meal replacement. So.
And honestly, even as we just scratch the surface, there's a lot to learn here and a lot to see, and we invite you to compare Andrew's product versus others, and you just won't find anything that really even does compare. And
again, what meal, in fact, last night I was watching television when I went back to the room, and there was one of the fast food chains, and they had a $5 meal, and it had like a burger and fries and a beverage. A $5 meal, and I was just doing the math in my head thinking, wow, at 66 cents a meal here, obviously you're getting in one meal, you're probably getting 10 times the vitamins and minerals that they give you in their one $5 meal.
Right.
But it's long past, this is like when I was a little kid, and what was it, McDonald's talked about the change back you'd get from your dollar or something like that. With a meal here, even when you get to the smaller size, with the meal here, you're still getting change back from your dollar. And when you look at the nutrition in each meal, we're talking about serious nutrition. When we go through here, acetyl L-carnitine, as I just went through the list of nutrients, it reads like a mini multivitamin.
It does.
I have another chart here that it's sort of somewhat, for me, a bit of an annoying chart. It's what makes what I do very, very, very difficult. This is a list of ingredients that over the last several years, various folks have made all sorts of outlandish claims in terms of their weight loss role. In fact, one of the most culpable parties in terms of that is, Dr. Oz. that there's a half a dozen ingredients on this list that Dr. Oz basically talked about in terms of their magical weight loss benefits in terms of raspberry ketone. We all know that's a fraud now. Green coffee bean extract can have some benefits, but it's not a magical weight loss product at all. African mango, acai berry. Acai berry is a healthy berry. It's not a weight loss ingredient. Mangosteen, 7-keto DHEA, conjugated linoleic acid forskolin, hoodia, bitter orange, which is Citrus aurantium, magnolia, philodendron, which isn't the philodendron plants we have in our homes, saffron extract, capsaicin, Chataburg, safflower oil, glucomannan, Garcinia cambogia, DMAA. These are ingredients that aren't weight loss ingredients, and yet, you know, folks continue to make outrageous claims for them. And I think the disappointment, disillusionment that comes from using those ingredients makes it difficult for me when I'm talking about something that, again, you don't have to get my meal replacement. I'll read the scientific charts, the clinical studies that talks about why meal replacements are the most effective and the superior path to take in terms of weight loss. So you don't have to get mine. But I'm just talking about a generic approach that the science has proven as being most effective. Those are all nutritional ingredients, many of which have benefits, but they're all scams or frauds as far as weight loss. When it comes to weight loss, it's all about managing what we put in our body. Yeah. That's it. Certainly exercise helps and our lifestyle, critically important. But it's all about managing what we put in our body. And it just so happens meal replacement science is the most established and the most reliable science in terms of weight loss. That's the only reason I make a meal replacement. Right. Not because I want to sell a meal replacement, but because meal replacement has been established as the best method to embrace. Of course, when you're eating meals that you haven't replaced, you have to still make intelligent decisions in terms of your meals and snacks. And what I always say about my meal replacement, because it's so low in calories, you could replace a snack and it's lower calories than a fraction of a bag of chips, a fraction of a candy bar, a fraction of one of those little food bars. So it's so flexible because it's so low in calories. You could add non-fat milk or non-fat yogurt. You could even add whole milk. It's still going to be barely 100 calories or so because it's so low in calories.
We're already halfway through our presentation, and I'm thrilled that Andrew took us through, as the chart calls it, the weight loss pretenders, because I think we've all, in so many ways, been led down a certain path, and we are all very vulnerable and insecure about certain things. And when it comes to weight loss, I think we all, me included, look for an easy option. And when we see things promoted and we see the hype and we see these amazing before and afters, it's like, oh, I'll buy that. Here's my money. The truth of the matter is we're let down and it doesn't work as we hoped it would. And that's what really is at the heart and soul of this. This is not hype. Andrew's product works. It's validated, it's proven, it's scientifically formulated. It will deliver a more nourishing meal than you and I typically would have for lunch or dinner, there's no doubt. The near 3,000 5-star reviews are testament to how incredible this product is. So I would encourage you, for every one of us out there who has been made one too many promises, for every one of us out there that is looking for a real solution, this is that solution. Now, even though we're halfway through, I do want to tell you, out of all the options, if you choose the 100 serving, the 200 serving, or the 300 serving, you are in for a wonderful surprise because you get a lot of extra bonuses from Andrew's fabulous Andrew Muriel's cookbook to Choco Nouveau, which is
that's how we eat at home. You get Choco Nouveau to work with Cholesterol to lower your cholesterol. It's actually the most delicious chocolate in the world. So on either of those 3 larger sizes, you get 30, 20, or 10, respectively, of chocolate. The green tea, you also get the cookbook. Plus, we had last year, this was our best offer ever on Secure. The additional things you get today make it even better. Plus, you're getting the acetyl L-carnitine with each meal. That's a standalone, and it's something I have offered as a standalone product to support your weight loss goals because you can't metabolize and burn fat without acetyl, without carnitine to transport it within your cells. What I was going to read is, I really haven't read any reviews. I was just going to read some reviews here, and we have a bunch of reviews that talk about flavor, that talk about that it's really the best meal replacement they've ever had. I just grabbed some from a stack that said about weight loss goals. And because I usually don't talk about weight loss goals, but it's something that I've said, can you talk about people what they've achieved using the product? So we just grabbed a few here. This first one's from Peggy in Ohio. Absolutely delicious. I've been using this product for several years now. It helped me when I made the big decision to do something about my weight. I lost 187 pounds. Oh, wow. This drink has helped to give me needed protein while satisfying my sweet tooth. I make it smoothie style by putting 1.5 scoops into a blender with water, ice cubes, a 1/4 cup powdered milk, and ground flax. Great recipe. The other ingredients add a bit of bulk, which makes it last a bit longer. I hope Andrew Lessman always has this product available from Peggy in Ohio.
Very powerful.
Changed my life. For 3 months now, I've been using Secure as a meal replacement 2 times per day. I have the vanilla, I mix it with non-fat Greek yogurt, eat it or add a little cinnamon with the Secure Greek non-fat yogurt combo and use it as a dip with apples. It tastes great even when just mixed with non-fat milk. It tastes great even if you just mix it with water. By using this 2 times per day and eating a clean, no sugar, low carb, low fat, etc., I have lost 27 pounds. Very pleased with this product. Thanks, Andrew. Finally, a meal replacement that works. I've been using this product for about a month and I've lost 10 pounds. These drinks are filling and delicious. Not only that, but they mix well. At 51 years old, I've been struggling to lose the middle-age spread. Now I'm seeing results. Nothing even comes close to this product. I feel better and I'm starting to look better. I'm signed up for auto ship and plan on staying with this product. Thank you, from Martha. The best meal replacement around. I love Secure. It has changed my life. I'm 24 years old and I'm 4 feet 10 inches tall. I gave birth to twins 4 years ago and gained 100 pounds. Because of this product being so convenient and so delicious, I am back to my original weight of 95 pounds. Judy. The best thing I ever did for me. Wow. I purchased Coffee Secure for the first time 18 months ago. And I've had a shake for breakfast, which I used to skip, and one for lunch or a snack. I've lost over 50 pounds. And the best part is I have kept it off and I love the taste. Honestly, I love this shake. It is a great source of vitamins that I normally would not get. If you love a Frappuccino, you will love this shake. From Lisa, am I Michigan? Too good to be healthy. And we designed these. I copied the best fast food shakes. That's what I copied the flavor. It tastes
so good.
Yep. Well, they know what they're doing with flavor, so I copied their flavor. Coffee is the best, while my husband drinks the fancy coffee shop drinks for 500 calories. Wow. I drink mine for hundreds less calories. Outstanding. Andrew, don't ever stop making these. I've incorporated these drinks with a healthy lifestyle of eating and exercising and have lost 53 pounds. Wow. I love them. Love it. I couldn't live without the Coffee Secure. I have it every morning. Also, I really like the Vanilla Secure. I add it to my fruit smoothies. Vanilla can go with everything. Fruit smoothies, vegetable smoothies, divine. These two are my absolute favorite flavors. So far, since I've been on Secure, I've lost 15 pounds, and it's been both delicious and painless. Thanks. Lost 18 pounds in 3 months. I've changed my eating habits because of this product. It satisfies, keep my energy up, and easy to use. I got the chocolate, mix it with yogurt, ice, and a splash of water. And I encourage everyone, find your own recipes because this is designed to work for you. You need to make it work for you and make it taste delicious because we invest in the flavor. You could invest in the flexibility and the creativity. Exactly, play with it. I whip it in my blender and I'm off to work. Also good for an evening snack. I'm anxious to try more flavors. Thanks, Andrew, from JJ in California. Just a couple more. Amazing. I've never written a review. However, I have to say that after starting this, I have lost 25 pounds. It is a commitment that you must make, and I've found that by adding fruit to my shake, I'm not still hungry as I was with other weight management products. 2 a day and a sensible meal, and I'm feeling and looking better than I have in a few years. My sugar and carbohydrate cravings have all but disappeared, and I cannot be happier with my results. Thank you, Andrew, for a great product. Secure is the best. For health reasons, I needed to drop some weight. most of us for health reasons could benefit. By drinking Secure 2 to 3 times a day, I lost 20 pounds, and my doctor was extremely happy. Secure allowed me to cut my caloric intake while keeping my nutritional requirements at an acceptable level so that I did not get hungry or sick. This product is fantastic, and the flavors are great. I think, do I have one more? One more. Love this. I love this product. I have lost 70 pounds. I exercise and eat a healthy diet. I use this product once a day as a meal replacement. It's satisfying and full of all that is good for you. I trust Andrew's products to be pure and to contain what he states on his label. I think it has a terrific, great taste, and I dress it up with fruit and make a terrific smoothie each day. I order it all the time when I get low. I wait for the specials, which there's no special like this.
Nope.
During the year. I wait for the specials at which helps my budget and allows me to buy this product. Thank you, Andrew, from Bonnie in Virginia. And again, even for those who, if you just want to save a few dollars, there's no meal, there's no snack that could cost you 66 cents. No. And it's actually incorrect for me to say on the large size it's only 66 cents a meal, because that doesn't include the value of the chocolate or the value of any of the cookbook. It doesn't include the green tea, any of the other special components you're getting that will help you achieve your wellness goals. So, but even if you forget about those, if you got those home and you threw them in the trash or gave them to someone else, 66 cents a meal. It's less expensive today, believe it or not, than when I introduced this more than 2 decades ago. And that's the efficiency that comes with me being the very manufacturer of this product. Most products in the market aren't made by the person who you see representing it. They're made by some contract manufacturer. We make everything ourselves, and we make it entirely using solar energy. We make it responsibly.
I want to show you why so many people have jumped in today in terms of value. Excuse me. Here's the chart. And as you can see, Andrew reserves this for 1 day a year. It's the most important day of the year for Secure Meal. 20, 50, and 100, 200, 300. I want to share with you this. The 300 would normally be $470, well, $2. Our price is $199. That saves you $271. To give you some example of what that means, here's a breakdown of what you receive. With the 300 meal, which is what I would recommend, the Secure itself is a $345 value. The ingredient, the acetyl L-carnitine, 48. Choco Nouveau, you're receiving as a bonus. Peppermint green tea, you're receiving as a bonus. And the Everyday Eating book is another $20 bonus. Andrew, I have a question, if I may, sir. Clearly, the numbers don't lie when it comes to the 300 serving. It is by far way and above the best value. But if somebody's at home worried that they won't be able to get through it, how long would this last after I open it?
Oh, 3 years.
Oh, wow, fine.
And what I would, of course, encourage, don't leave this in the hot sun, or don't leave this in an environment where it's going to be exposed to factors that might adversely affect its stability.
Right.
But typically 3 years, but I say just on the conservative side, 2 years. So you're talking about at 300 meals anyhow. At 1 meal daily, that's going to be 10 months.
Right.
Which again gives some insight into the value here. You could have a meal every day for a month, and it's not even $20.
Right.
Again, we would think it was ridiculous if someone showed us from, I guess it's probably from the 1960s, that fast food commercial, you could get your meal and get change back from $1. Here you're getting an incredibly healthy meal that has the vitamins and minerals that would come in a multivitamin, multi-mineral product, and you're getting the highest quality non-GMO soy protein possible. And we choose soy protein here because it has been shown to be the most effective source of protein for weight loss. If you, say, have sensitivity to soy, you could always get our whey protein version or our marine collagen version, which is also available to hsn.com at special savings this weekend. So, but it's an opportunity, as I've said before, and I'll read some of the charts from the science, that this is not my idea. Meal replacement is science that has been around for a few decades now, and it's been extensively researched, repetitively proven as the most effective way for a normal person leading a normal life. You're not sitting in some clinic, isolated in your room, having food kept away from you and only allowed to eat what's on a tiny little plate. That would cost thousands of dollars a month. We're not doing that here. For someone who has a normal life with the normal challenges, a job and a family and things like that, meal replacement science has been proved over and over and over again to be the most effective way way to lose weight. You will not find a more nutritious, a better tasting, an easier to mix, more soluble. If you're not putting fruit or things in, you don't even need a blender. And even as you saw with, I mixed 3 scoops into probably 6-7 ounces of water. It mixed with a spoon in just a few seconds. So it's designed actually to eliminate all of the complaints and problems of typical meal replacements. If you read the reviews, the single largest complaint we have, too much flavor and too sweet. But that's not a problem. You could always dilute that. You could always use less. That's just, you can't fix a product that doesn't have enough of that.
Right.
So it's interesting that we listen to your reviews, and that's how this product has evolved. I've been hearing your reviews since I introduced this product almost 3 decades ago. So it's been an evolution to create a product that, for a flavored product, for a taste-based product, and we're all individuals, to think that 70% of the reviews, roughly 70%, are 5-star reviews for an ultra-low-calorie meal replacement. I hope you realize how unusual that is, or how unheard of that is. And it's a result, basically, of our constantly listening to your feedback. And I just read some of the reviews on meal replacement here. And not reviews, this is science. This is from the Nutrition Journal, an extremely well-respected scientific journal. And I know the testimonial charts are more exciting and provocative for me to read, but frankly, this is what created this product. Meal replacement shakes have been studied extensively for both medical and public health efforts to combat obesity. Meal replacement shakes represent an important strategy in combating the worldwide epidemic of obesity due to their simplicity and convenience. Meal replacement simplifies the weight loss regimens by replacing 1 or 2 meals a day with a product of defined nutrient and caloric content. It's that kind of conclusion which has been drawn in countless studies. That is the reason why I make a meal replacement. I started off making a meal replacement that was low in calories, that didn't taste great, nutritionally complete. I didn't do a great job. What I realized, I had to evolve that product to be just as nutritionally complete, but it also had to taste great. We're talking about a meal. We're not talking about an IV. This is a meal. You're going to experience it, you're going to taste it. And also, part of our issues with eating as human beings is eating plays a role in satisfaction, eating plays a role in fulfillment. So we had to make a meal replacement that fulfilled sort of our primal desire to have a sense of calories being loaded into our system, because calories are energy, calories are survival. So we had to figure out how to achieve that kind of flavor sensation, that effectively a sweet tooth. What is a sweet tooth? A sweet tooth is our genetically coded, that's our DNA telling us that sweet is sugar, is carb, it's energy. Energy is survival. So sweet was the message to our ancestors: eat this, it will keep you alive. Sweet plays that same message to us. It's enjoyable. It tells us to eat this. Not that it'll keep us alive. It'll unfortunately keep us gaining weight. So we had to design a product that just wasn't, from a numerical standpoint, numerically complete. Easy for me. I've been making vitamin supplements for now almost 39 years. That was easy. The hard part was me realizing this entire science of flavor and taste. And we literally contracted with the best flavor houses in the world and said to them, okay, you help those big fast food companies make those delicious chocolate, vanilla, and coffee shakes. We want the same flavor, we want the same taste. We're not going to do it their way. That's sort of funny, that's a fast food slogan. We're gonna have it our way. But that's what we've achieved. And the designer of that product has been none other than you, because as anyone who watches me frequently knows, that I pay attention to the feedback. Not only do I read the testimonial charts here, but I read all the commentary that you send to my company and that you post.
It's funny, because one of the things that you can absolutely be confirmed and guaranteed of is that anything Andrew puts his mind to, he will truly create the best in the world, and that's what we have. There's only 4 or 5 minutes left. If you are just joining us, we just read some reviews which were mind-blowing. 160 pounds, 60 pounds, 40 pounds, 30 30 pounds, 20 pounds. Incredible stories, real, genuine, heartfelt stories from a product that works. Andrew jokes about reading the science, which, you know, is important to read. And the reason why we're showing science rather than these crazy B&As is because that's what formulates this. No hype or buzz, just real results. So bear that in mind. Our producer, Rick, just gave me the update in terms of what's happening. Most people, especially since Andrew talked about the 3-year shelf life, 2 to 3 year shelf life, are choosing that 300 serving because inevitably you'll consume it, you'll use it, and even though Andrew likes to make this available as often as possible, this is that best day of the year to get it.
And even for teenagers, it's assured nutrition. They're getting the vitamins and minerals that they need. So it's a product that just from the standpoint of health is a great investment. And then I don't like to harp, usually I don't talk about the pricing or things like that, but in terms of value,
yes.
And we have some charts that talk about that when there were economic challenges in a household, that this became a go-to product because, and of course we want to every day make sure we have a complete meal, even when we're using a meal replacement. You replace 1 or 2 meals, but still have at least 1 or 2 complete meals a day. But this was more affordable than those meals. To think about all the nutrition you get, and even on the smallest size, it's barely, on the Try Me size, it's barely $1. On the size above that, it's less than $1. And when you get into the 3 largest sizes, without even considering all the bonus ingredients you get, the Choco Nuvo, the tea, the book, you're still talking about a product that's, I mean, when you're at 66 cents a day, that's 66 pennies a day. That's a meal. And that's a nutritious meal. So I hope everyone realizes that, and I almost have to apologize for that because as much as it's affordable, and I've been told this before, that it would be a better business proposition. I would do better if, like other meal replacements, I was selling this for $3 a meal. Because how could this actually be the best meal replacement in the world if it's only 66 cents a meal? But hopefully I've provided enough information, showed its solubility, showed the vitamin mineral content, and I'm someone who makes vitamin mineral supplements, has done that for 39 years. Hopefully, when you take that all into consideration, you don't think this is some inexpensive, low-quality product, but this is actually the most not the most exceptional, not the most expensive, the most exceptional meal replacement in the world.
Well, as we kind of bring this to a close, just to reiterate, just so you know, if you choose that 300 serving, you get this cookbook by itself.
And on its own, it's how we eat at home.
Yep.
On its own, if you could find a few recipes, it's priceless. And Muriel is a cordon bleu trained chef, but Muriel is also healthy. She'll be out in a moment.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about her soup and veggie cookbooks because soup and veggie, that's how I snack. The other day, I frequently do blood tests. So I like to 2 or 3 times a year, I get all my blood values done. So I was busy writing the blog. So I figured I'd go, you fast before the blood test, I'd go get the blood test at whatever, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. I got busy, got on the phone. I didn't finish the blog until 3 or 4 in the afternoon, so I hadn't eaten literally all day until 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Right. So what did I do? We have these little 8-ounce glass bowls. I brought the glass bowls with me of the soup. So that's why I want to talk about the soup and veggie cookbook, because again, meal replacements are the key to weight loss science. But being intelligent about how we eat works hand in hand with a meal replacement, and that's how we maintain our weight loss.
And don't forget, you'll also get a 10, 20, or 30 count of the Choco Nuvo that is just right down there, and you're going to get Andrew's green tea as well.
Best tasting chocolate in the world. And when it comes to meal replacements, again, I just try to show how objective I am here, and that's hopefully what's obvious. When it comes to a meal replacement, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of meal replacements on the market. The key to defining a great meal replacement is its nutrient content, its caloric content, because the lower the calories, the more flexibility and creativity it gives you, because you need to put your sort of stamp on it, your signature on it, and make it a meal replacement that works for you. For many people, for me, I mix this water, non-fat milk, I'm done. It's great. Muriel likes to add it to vegetable beverages or fruit smoothies and things like that. But the key to a successful meal replacement and meal replacement regime is going to be its flavor. No one has done a better job in terms of nutrition than we have. No one has done a better job in terms of solubility, mixing, and all of those things. But the key is going to be flavor and texture and mouthfeel. And again, to think that this is ultra low calorie, and 70% of its reviews are 5-star reviews. Certainly with something with flavor, something I love, there's got to be an equal number of people who won't love that. So to think that 70% are 5-star, when you total up the reviews, 3, 4, and 5-star, you're getting close to 90%. That's crazy. So I hope that's what gives you a sense of feeling, to lack of a better word, secure. Yeah. That it's secure nutritionally. The reviews should give you greater security. And again, in terms of flavor, in terms of texture. But again, the most important part, the only great source of security when it comes to weight loss is the science. And the science says we have to change what we put in our body. That's the science on weight loss, because what we have in our body doesn't come from thin air. It results from what we put in our body. And the best science in terms of changing what we put in our body is meal replacement. That's where we find the most effective tools.
Well, with that in mind, let's finish my chocolate, and let me tell you, that tastes like the best chocolate milkshake you ever had in your life.
You just have to try this one. It had the 3 scoops in it.
The super strong.
And tell me if it tastes like you're drinking a chocolate bar.
Oh my gosh,
it's unbelievable.
Andrew, that's crazy.
No, well, again, what I tried to do when I created this was I took the best shakes on the market. I looked at chocolate ice cream. I wasn't going to be done until, as long as I'm asking for somebody to do something that's difficult. Probably the most difficult thing we have to do is lose weight. Yeah. It goes against our very genetic nature, which is to eat whenever we can to sustain and survive. So I figured as long as I'm asking people to do that, I'm going to do my very best to make it a delicious experience. And if you read the reviews, I think we succeeded.
Well, with that in mind, we're going to head over this way to our next Today's Special. Continue to call in for our phenomenal secure meal replacement. I'm just excited, to Andrew's point, for you to try it, because I know when you try it, you'll like it. And if you like it, you'll drink it. And if you drink it, you're going to certainly see those benefits. But Andrew, this is obviously the time of year when we have a lot of people asking about Cholesterol. Right. It's a product that a lot of your customers swear by, but also a product that maybe a lot of channel surfers this morning have never heard of before.
Well, I think most of us don't realize that we have an opportunity to lower our cholesterol level. Many of us don't even think we can make an impact on cholesterol with our diet. Frankly, you can make an enormous impact on your cholesterol level with diet. That's been proven over and over and over again. And despite there folks who might say otherwise, I mean, I could, by changing what I eat, I can move my cholesterol level by 30 or 40%. So obviously, and if you simply look at vegans or vegetarians, their cholesterol levels are significantly lower than those folks in the normal population eating normally. And I'm someone who, I don't really eat red meat anymore. I don't eat much dairy. I still eat chicken and fish. So that's sort of how I've evolved my diet. As we all get older, we evolve our diet to support our best health. But when it comes to cholesterol, we think, okay, maybe change my diet, difficult to do, or I'm stuck with cholesterol-lowering drugs. And right now, principally the most prescribed drugs in America are cholesterol-lowering drugs, which is a phenomenal statement when you think about the type 2 diabetes, the blood sugar modulating, regulating drugs, when you think of things like antidepressants and things like that, which are heavily prescribed in this country. So when you're looking at those kinds of numbers, this is a product that provides an enormous opportunity for an enormous number of people. And the reason I say that is this product doesn't just go pretty well, it works perfectly with cholesterol-lowering drugs. Why? Cholesterol-lowering drugs work differently. They actually have an effect on an enzyme in your liver called HMG-CoA reductase. That enzyme also, unfortunately, makes coenzyme Q10. So if you're taking any of those cholesterol-lowering drugs, you must supplement CoQ10, which we'll talk about in a moment. But when you're lowering your cholesterol level by affecting a liver in your system, which affects the production of cholesterol in your body, that's one method. Cholesterol works, and Cholesterol, the ingredient in Cholesterol, has been approved by the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, to help reduce the risk of heart disease and to help lower our total and LDL cholesterol. Not by a little, but by a lot. But this works entirely differently. It works in our digestive system. So while those drugs are busily working in your liver, Cholesterol is busily working in your digestive system. They work independently, they work perfectly with one another, and the only reason I've always said talk to your doctor when using this, not because this is dangerous or has side effects or anything else, but your doctor is likely going to be able to reduce the levels of the cholesterol-lowering drug you're using. So work closely with the doctor. In many cases, we have charts talking about this. They've been able to eliminate the cholesterol-lowering drug. So, of course, work closely with your doctor, but this is an ingredient that works. And if you combine this with a product I have called Fiber Mucil, if you combine it with just more fiber in your diet, start having, I love having beans, nuts, seeds, legumes, add more fiber to your diet, it makes Cholesterol work better. You could start seeing reductions of 20, 25%, or even 30% in total in LDL cholesterol levels. So, and I have charts I'll read. It's a remarkable ingredient. What's fascinating is that with all of the popularity of these cholesterol-lowering drugs, you hear no one talking about this ingredient. I have a study I could talk about that was just published in Europe that talked about the fact that if people embraced these plant sterols, and plant sterols are just the plant equivalent of cholesterol. Plants don't contain cholesterol. They contain a molecule similar. That molecule similar blocks the absorption of cholesterol. But if in this European country, they just said if people embrace these ingredients, it could have a multi-billion-dollar impact on healthcare costs. Wow. Imagine that in the U.S., and it's just an ingredient that's ubiquitous, that's very common in a vegetarian or a vegan diet, but in a typical American diet, not all that available. So you have a capsule of Cholesterol with your 2 largest meals of the day. I recommend 1 capsule with each meal. If you have a very large meal, perhaps 2 capsules. That's all you need to do, and you're going to see a significant reduction in cholesterol level. And again, blood tests show this in black and white, and this is a product, I think it's rated something like 4.2 or 4.3 stars with close to 90% of the reviews positive reviews.
And that's huge, and you just took the words out my mouth. I mean, the majority of reviews are 4 and 5 stars, showing and indicating that it works. So if you're at home and you're looking and you're thinking, well, I don't know, should I give it a go? You've got to give it a go. I know for many of us, we tune in every time to see Andrew, and we've listened to him for many, many, many years, and we understand what he says. We understand and believe the validation of the science that goes into it. But I want you to know that every single thing, every ingredient inside here is pure, is filler-free and additive-free. There's nothing impure. There's nothing bad. There's no side effect. It works. I know it's hard to believe. You turn on the TV on the morning, it's going to lower your cholesterol. Is it really? It's going to work for you. I want to show you the options in terms of the sizing and the difference in pricing for our today's special, because in 2018, this is the best day of the year, the best moment of the year to order.
Well, it's been the best moment since this product is introduced. We've only on a couple of occasions done a 1,000 capsule supply, so that's a one-time thing.
Huge. Look at that.
And if, well, I just want to point out, the normal price on 500 is 149.
Yeah.
If the Today Special for 500 was with 99, that would be the best Today Special.
Right.
But what we did, because this is a special time of year, I think people are more receptive than ever to trying something new. As I said, this works perfectly with cholesterol-lowering drugs. It just helps them work better, or enables you to use less of those cholesterol-lowering drugs. And I have some little pointers on those cholesterol-lowering drugs as well, but to look at the savings that you're getting for the normal purchase of 500 capsules, you're getting $50 off. But so it's as if you're getting $50 off and we're giving you 500 capsules free.
Now, how many would I take, Andrew? Well, why is it better to...
It's just take 1 capsule with each of your 2 largest meals.
Okay.
That's at a minimum. What I recommend is 1 capsule with each meal.
Okay.
Just take 1 capsule with each meal, and you're going to see, in my case, you know, I saw about a 17% reduction, 15 to 20% depending on when I take my blood test. There's normal variation in your blood test. I think typically that's what folks see. If you incorporate it, as I said, with more fiber, some good dietary changes, you could see reductions of 20. I already had those other changes present, so you'll see changes of 20, 25%, 30% or more. And it's an ingredient that, as I said, works perfectly with those cholesterol-lowering drugs, or for those people who couldn't take them. It becomes a real opportunity to do something that you otherwise couldn't do. And many people suffer from the side effects from those cholesterol-lowering drugs.
How fast would I expect to see some change?
Oh, you could see if you took a blood test in a week, you'll see changes. So 30-day money-back guarantee is ample time. If you took a capsule with each meal for 30 days, right, at the end of 30 days, you're going to be seeing a significant reduction.
So you can measure the difference yourself. You'll be able to see black and white highlight the difference, the effect it's going to have on you.
And it's very easy. It's very affordable. You could even go online. There are places where you could just go to a local lab near you, and for literally $10 or $20, you can get a cholesterol test. You can get a lipid test. So it's incredibly affordable to do. We all have access. I think there's things like health labs or personal labs or whatever.
Yeah.
There's all this stuff online. Just type in cholesterol blood test, and you could find somewhere to go, and it'll be very, very affordable. So you could see, and I encourage you to do so because I know this product works. So the black and white proof is all you need to see. And as I said before, the clinical science is impeccably clear. We didn't talk about this much last night. We didn't have time. We were mostly Secure is more complicated, so I didn't have time to talk about it. But this is an incredibly important product. The Choco Nuvo that we talked about with the Today Special, with the Secure. Choco Nuvo takes the ingredient from this, combines it with chocolate. I also have a product called Ultimate Oatmeal, Ultimate Oat Bran. So when you take your Choco Nuvo with a meal, you could save a capsule. You don't have to use a capsule. You use the capsules when you don't take Choco Nuvo or we're not having Ultimate Oatmeal or Ultimate Oat Bran. So this makes it portable. It goes with you anywhere. So it's an opportunity to just make a significant difference in something that the #1 threat to our living in a society is heart disease. And we all know the risk that obesity poses to that and overweight. We know the risk that high blood pressure and high blood sugar can pose, and metabolic syndrome, as they call it. And here we're talking about cholesterol, which we all know the risk that poses, high cholesterol, specifically high LDL cholesterol levels. And this lowers that LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol. Many people forget which is which. HDL, I always say the HDL, that's the one we want it to be high, and it's the happy cholesterol.
Okay.
The LDL, that's the one we want to be low, and that's the lousy cholesterol. So that's one way to understand and remember them. But again, this is a natural tool approved by the FDA, and the research has validated over and over and over its benefits.